Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdouts Newsstand, and today me and Bianca on Bad Ideas are going to talk about Moon Knight. The first episode aired on Disney Plus, and I have a lot to say. I think Bianca has a lot to say, and I think when it comes to Moon Knight, I kind of look at him. I don't know about you, Bianca. I always kind of looked at him as like the psycho Batman. I think that's fair, but I think even this show kind of, and I'll go through my thesis about this later on, but I think even this show proves this. And as far as like my experience with Moon Knight, it's very limited. But I forget, how are you today, Bianca?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How much Moon Knight have you specifically read or
None.
are familiar? Okay, so you're going in here brand new, know very little about this character, right?
I should get the Jed McKay series. I heard that's good. That's pretty
It's
good.
so good. It is the best, hands down, the best title at Marvel.
I'm gonna get the trade paperback then.
It's good. And I'm familiar with him through not only Jed McKay, but Jeff Lemire. And then I read some previous. My favorite is Jeff Lemire. I don't know.
That's everybody's favorite.
I was gonna say I think that's the one everyone champions. Jeff Lemire is such a good writer, but there are problems I specifically have with this from reading Moon Knight's origin, and one of them is something
There was
that
no
was
werewolves.
yeah, right. He wasn't because he was first introduced in Werewolf by Night, and they're not even including Werewolf by Night. I would like to see Werewolf by Night get his own series and then Moon Knight show up in it. That would be fucking cool.
Ooh.
That would be awesome. But my issue is something they actually talked about previous to this being introduced was the omittance of his religion. And I'm like, that was kind of so when it comes to Moon Knight origins, again, not the most super big, Moon Knight fan here. I love Moon Knight. He's one of my more favorite characters in the Marvel Comics universe. But I'm definitely not near as experienced reading as some of the others. When he actually started getting his DID, his dissociative identity, it was because of his rabbi. So taking that away was where I thought like the fundamental flaw was going to be in this show. But it looks like they're going for like, he's already got it. He's at least in some forms living a couple different lives. So we're not going to see the origin of how it happened. But if they want like this character moving forward, don't you think they ought to have like an origin? Like,
I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but I did see them on Twitter saying that him being Jewish is a big part of his character, and they're really tried hard to incorporate it throughout the episodes as much as possible. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a
okay,
flashback. Maybe we won't.
that's cool. See, I didn't know that.
I'm glad they cared.
Yeah, because it is like his rabbi ended up being like a murderous psychopath, and that is what led to two of the personalities. I gotta think. I think it led to Mark and Jake, and then Steven came later. Steven was the rich guy. Wait, I'm so confused. There's so many of them. I know it led to two. Okay, I know it led to two. And Steven was, from my understanding, maybe it was Steven that came later because he was the cab driver. So they've changed him from a cab driver to somebody that works in a museum. And I think that's a really good change. I think that actually is a really smart change because they can do like that exposition where he's talking to the child about the different deities. And I think that sets it up pretty well.
I do agree too. I'm sorry about the pause.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so overall, let's talk about this show. You going into it not knowing what did it explain enough for you? Did you understand what they were going for?
I think so. The Egyptian gods and all that stuff. Them having some sort of what's it called? Him being Moon Knight has some sort of connection. That's what I wanted to say. Uh, of how he got his powers. Amit, which is a god of like I don't know what's it called. Frickin' frick. To like know if you've been good or you've been
Yes.
bad.
The one
Uh,
that the new villain, because he's I think a new character. Um, the cult leader. I don't even
yeah,
remember his name. The one that he uses. I like that idea. I thought that was really cool. Um,
poor old
but
lady.
was was the deity that came to life that was chasing him like that werewolf looking motherfucker at the end, where he actually kills him, or Moon Knight comes through and kills him, or at least beats the.
So in the
Is that Amit?
trailer, no, in the trailer they made it look like he was killing a god, but it seemed like it was one of the dog lackeys that they
Oh,
summoned.
that makes more sense. Okay. And then I was like, oh, this is a werewolf looking dude. Are we really getting werewolf by night? And then I'm like, no, there's no way. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense now.
That part was so great. That they
It was
just
so good.
went in and they're like, "No, I want to get out. Get me out of here."
I love,
Ah.
and another thing I want to talk about is from the very beginning, they do the, this is Moon Knight. He's suffering from this. He's tying himself up. We're seeing this like weird, something weird is going on, right? And
Mhm.
then we get him in, oh god, I can't stand that woman. His boss,
I hate her.
like I know she's set up there to be like the bitchy boss. I get it, the Karen type figure, but wholly on the nose. Did every like she was terrible. Like she acted the part fine, but
Mhm.
like I don't know. I'm wondering if something's gonna come back with that character just because it's really on the nose. What a bitch she is.
And like if you look from her point of view, you understand how she is that way because you have this employee who's late all the time and you have
Yeah.
no idea why.
And you don't know what like he's suffering in silence and sort of um having this going through this like well mental catastrophe where he's splitting off and not knowing what's going on, but like even to the point where I was like, oh my god, like are they trying to make it seem like she is like I don't know, like overly Karen is the way I'm gonna put it. But then we go and we see like he's got a date, but it wasn't him that asked her out. So
No.
is Mark, when he goes through his kind of passing out thing, and I like how they did that like visual, right? It kind of like
Mhm.
blurred, and I like how they did that visual. um is Mark pretending he's Steven sometimes?
I don't think so. It's when Mark comes out, he is his own person.
Right, he's Mark.
Yeah, so they share a body. So he kind of does whatever he wants nonchalantly without caring about the consequences or any type of consequences that may happen.
I mean, at least they established that Mark was the smooth one. Like, because he clearly has some other lady when he finds the phone that's been looking for him, and now he's able to get dates. Like, come on, just let Mark out. He might improve your social life a little bit. Oh, I liked how they included. He's sitting by that gold statue, talking
uh
to it.
oh yeah. Wait, isn't that a person?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Crawley, like one of his buddies from the comics. I like that little thing. Like, that's kind of a deep
Oh.
cut.
I bet that old guy is really annoyed hearing him talk.
I thought it was totally like Bill Murray or something at first, and then I realized it wasn't, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool, kind of cool. I like it."
I can see how you would have thought it was Bill Murray.
I was like, and I need new glasses anyway, so I'm like, "What? Why they got Bill Murray in here? All right, cool, whatever, I guess." But then I realized who it was. So they go in this this town that he ends up in, and we meet like the true villain, right? And this
Mhm.
villain is I Amit? Is it Amit? Like, do they give this dude? I don't know. We're gonna call
He
him
does
Bat
have a name, but I don't remember what the heck it was. But he talks about the god Amit.
Amit. I say it wrong. But
I'm
yeah,
probably
like,
saying it wrong too.
um, he, he like his tattoo can tell if the god Amit, who knows the past, present, future, current, everything, knows if it's going to be good. So he'll take their life. Like he took that old lady's life. Just like, ah, Amit says that you're a
I
bad
think it's
person.
Bupkiss. I bet it's fake.
Oh yeah, I bet it's
No
fake
way
too.
that lady said she was good all her life. And she looks so sweet too. She's like, "Man, I just want to know." And I'm like,
N-
"Aw." And they're like, "No, you're guilty." And I'm like, "You mother crapper."
Well, there's no way that this lady's gonna turn around and be like this terrible, like badass murderer.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't think when he says, he's like, "Are you prepared to face the consequences from the scales or whatever?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, so when she finds out she's guilty, she'll just turn her life around. Not a big
right.
deal." And then it was ends up being death. And I'm like, "Oh, that's okay."
Yeah, like that's a little dramatic. But can he just thing here is the way that scene went down, it kind of looks like he feeds off their life force. Cause you
I
notice
thought so
like,
too because he was glowing, wasn't he?
yeah, and then like when they show her corpse, she's like, her face is sunken. She looks like she's already been through rigor mortis. She looks like, so I'm wondering if this is all kind of a con. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's saying these people that he thinks are like devout followers or strong or he can use somehow are the good people, but a little old lady that he can't necessarily use to his advantage isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
Yeah.
seems a little sus, buddy. It's a little
Oh, so
sus.
I'm guessing he was the guy from the intro.
What do you mean?
In the beginning, there is a guy. You don't see his face. You see his arms, and you see the scale on the hand
Yes.
arm.
Yep,
And
that's him.
he's drinking water. He's putting his finger on the glass for some reason. He smashes it, and then he puts it in his sandals.
Yes, yes, that's him. He's
But
walking with
why?
why? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And he doesn't walk out there and say, "Hey guys, look, I'm really strong. My feet are really strong. I got glass in my sandals." He just walks out there. What was the need for the glass? That's some fuck that makes me like shiver.
Making me feel like he wants to see himself as like a messiah or a devout
Yeah.
follower, so he maybe follows a routine or something like that.
Yeah. I think
Or
you're
maybe
exactly right.
maybe it's like Attack on Titan where you need the blood to transform. Maybe he needs the blood coming down from his feet to feed off blood and activate his power.
Ooh,
I'm just
dang, you're smart.
I'm just going off from my brain right now.
No, it was really like, oh, it makes me like cringe every time I think of that scene. Like he did it so like melodically too. He set the thing down, put the thing on, like put his even within his puts his finger over it, and it like makes that noise. That like, you know what I'm telling you?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hate that noise. I fucking hate that
Oh,
noise. So like that whole scene, I'm like, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to handle this. It got okay, but it definitely didn't follow like it did, but it didn't. If that makes sense, like the Disney formula where
yeah.
everything's undercut by a joke and it's all super family friendly and there's this. I felt like it definitely kind of tried to go a little bit darker, but I don't know that it went as dark as what I think this show could have went, if that
For a
makes sense.
Disney show, I think it went pretty dark enough.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
didn't find that a lot of I didn't there wasn't a lot of comedic stuff in here as I thought. I thought there was going to be a little bit more because it was Disney. But there is only like what and this almost 50-minute show like 5.
Yeah, maybe 5, like when he's running from Khonshu,
Mhm.
he lost his that's what's in the trailer. And then there was a couple like, maybe the Karen being a little bit of comic relief, but like there wasn't near as much as a WandaVision or a Loki. Like,
I need to still see WandaVision.
oh my god, you're missing out. It's not my favorite one of these so far. Loki was my favorite, but
but,
it
but am
is
I
really
going to
good.
end up hating Wanda like everybody else does?
No, I love her. And there's babies. She has babies. It's so cute. You gotta
Or
see it.
like they say, well, what she did, she's unforgivable, and I'm like, is it? I'm like,
Nah. Nah. It's the Marvel universe. Like, come on. Like,
maybe I'll
there's a lot
defend
of
it.
crazy shit.
Who knows?
That's true.
Maybe I'll
Video
defend it
for
and I'll debate about it.
There we go. Perfect. So, that's why I was saying. Oh yeah, Khonshu. I wanted to talk about Khon. What did you think of his design? Like that? Yeah, it was so good. Sorry, go ahead.
Who? Who's Khonshu?
Okay. What?
What?
The skull guy.
Oh!
Does it ever say his name in the show?
If they did, I didn't catch it. There was a lot of
Now that
names I
I'm
was
thinking
trying to
about it.
remember.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if they ever said his name in the show. Maybe once. I don't know.
They'll
But
definitely say it more later
the
on to
voice
at
in
least
his head is
explain.
also Khonshu.
Oh. I watched this with captions, so it just says male voice.
Does it really?
Yeah, I thought it was another personality, and then later on, I'm like, oh, never mind. You're that skull guy who's talking to him. Okay.
Yes, but that is Khonshu. Khonshu, for a long time when I was reading Moon Knight, I didn't know Khonshu because, like, there's some crazy issues of Moon Knight that are out there. Like, there are ones when he fights with Spider-Man, Captain America, I believe, and one Wolverine, and he plays all 4 parts. So, like, his DID
Ooh.
is so bad that he's imagining them there. So there's some crazy issues of Moon Knight out there where they explore that at DID really hard. So for a long time when I'm reading these books, I'm like, is Khonshu real? Like, is this just another figment of his imagination? But no, Khonshu is actually there. Like, he's actually a real person, from my understanding.
Mhm.
But like in this, it looks like they might be having him go to that figment side because he can hear him talk. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to. I think his design is flawless. I'll say that right off the bat. It
Love it.
looks so good. The skull, it matches perfectly. I love it. One issue I have is that is not the voice I read of Khonshu when I was reading it. The voice doesn't match for me. It doesn't match at all. It's very weird.
Uh,
It feels like the next line he's gonna say is "Finish him." Like, he sounds like Mortal Kombat.
oh, it wasn't scary or threatening enough.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like, it felt a little jokey.
Mm,
I
the
love
idiot's back.
the idiot's back. Yeah, just like that's a Khonshu line. I get that, but like, I don't know. I just really felt like it sounded like the guy from Mortal Kombat. Maybe,
Maybe it's
maybe I'm
scarier in
wrong.
the to Steven in its head.
Well, yeah, I imagine so. But yeah, his design is amazing. I'm curious where they go with it. I just wish that voice sounded a little bit like more menacing, I guess. I guess is the best way to put it. It just
I definitely understand that.
yeah,
I
it
feel
sounded a
like I
little
wanted a little bit more echo.
ooh, yeah, like add a little reverb on it, get it going, like make it a
Mm,
little scarier. I think it would work a little bit
lower
better.
the
So they're better.
pitch.
Yeah. There we go. See, we fix it for you, Disney.
Yeah.
But they do a good job with it. I don't know. I kind of like it, I'm not gonna lie. So his outfit, right? It looks amazing. Well,
Mhm.
that right off the bat, but it comes out of
Toilet
his
paper.
body. Yeah, it
Ooh.
totally looks like toilet paper. Why does it come out of his body?
Uh, just the way like Tobey Maguire's webs come out of
Yeah,
his body.
that's true. It's weird. Like, I like how they kind of leaned into the mummy aspect of it, right? With the
Mhm.
deities and Khonshu around, and it made sense to lean into that with that. But like, I'm not. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it being a
Oh,
costume.
maybe it's for easier transformation if he needs to change on the spot. He doesn't have to go to an alley and
He doesn't
change
have to go
clothes. He's
or
just
go to a
boop.
phone booth
Yeah.
or have a ring or something
It's
like
Moon
that.
Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just a little different to me. I think it's a
Mhm.
good creative choice. I think it's especially with VFX, how hard I can't imagine it is to do that. It probably made more sense to do it that way. What about go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I hiccuped.
No. I like how they showed also so the DID with him talking in the mirrors. I love
Mm.
that. I thought that was a really smart choice to implement because it gave the viewer a way to kind of look at them as separate personalities. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure they were always gonna do the mirror thing. I'm like, yeah, there's obviously how else are they gonna communicate? You have to use a mirror. You can't use a phone.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm not that smart. I've seen the mirror thing done before in comic books, but in live action, I think it was I don't know, I just think it was a smart creative choice. Like, I really like how they did it. I want to know how they're going to introduce. Are you familiar with Mr. Knight?
Is that when he wears a suit?
I actually still have it. Yes, it is. Like,
Okay.
I
Oh
I
yeah.
lo- it looks so good.
He
Mr.
looks
Knight
so
is my
menacing. It's scary.
he looks terrifying.
Wait, can you go
But
back to the second one?
yeah, I you know why I had this in here is because when I did my parody of the Batman, I was like, he's my favorite. Batman's my favorite. He wears white, so it's good.
He looks like he's wearing that cotton suit.
I
I
think it
wonder if it
looks
feels nice.
So is this gonna come out of his body?
Why not? It's magical.
That's true. That's true. Why not? I can't like point to it, but I love the crescent. I'm pointing to it with my thing. You
Yeah,
can't see
and it
it.
makes like a scar on his face.
It's so good. I love Mr. Knight. He's like the businessman, I guess I would say, of the Moon Knights. He's the one that'll like go to the bar and sit down with other villains or other heroes. And how are we going to get this? Is this 6 episodes? Do you have any idea? Usually it's six.
It's 6.
It's
I
six.
thought
Okay.
all 6 were gonna pop out today. I was like, "Dang, I have to watch all 6 episodes today. Let's see how well I can do it." And I'm like, "Oh, there's only 1." So I guess
No,
they're gonna do a weekly?
yeah, and I like with the last couple they've done like with WandaVision they did 3 episodes the first time and the rest of them they did 2. So I was surprised it was just 1 episode, but I
It's
mean, I
better
get
this
it.
way,
Yeah,
so I can
I
binge
actually
later
like the
on.
week. I hate the Netflix way of doing things where you just lump all of it down. I like the weekly. Like
Me
I think it's
too.
smarter. I think like I don't want to sit there and I mean I do kind
We
of
are in a
sometimes.
binge culture right now, so I believe when WandaVision and all the other shows were doing it, a few weekly, everybody got angry because they're not used to not binge
Right.
watching everything, and I'm like, well, listen, it's not that bad.
No,
Just
I
wait."
like it. Especially with Peacemaker, because I was so fucking hyped every week. Like I was like,
Mhm.
yes, I love this show. I can't wait for more. But then it kind of works on the reverse where like Hawkeye, I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good, and never went back. So it just depends on I think the binge works better if the show's mediocre, but like if the show's really good, you're fine with the weekly review. You know what I mean? I say
Yes.
review because I'm so used to making videos. I meant weekly. Weekly release is what I meant. But we're only getting 6 episodes here, so 5 more. And we're going to get the
Wait, how many personalities does he have?
4. He also has inner child. So Steven, Mark, Mr. Knight, inner child and Jake. So 5.
Maybe each episode will focus on a different personality.
Whereas this one was kind of Mark and
Mhm.
and to Steven. Steven's going to be like the narrator through all these personalities. He's going to be your like self insert where you follow that character. And then maybe you're right. I don't know that they'll even go depending on how far they go into like the his rabbi being a psycho stuff. Um I don't know that they'll even touch inner child. I don't know that I would.
I believe I saw something. I believe I saw the actor dressed in like kids' clothing or something like that.
Ah
Or
ha ha.
I could have sworn I saw something like that, and I'm like, okay, what's this all about? And then they're like, oh, he has like an inner child, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I could have
Yes.
sworn. I have no idea where I saw that.
That is so cool. I also seen a rumor that this might not even be connected to the MCU. Did you see that?
Um, no, I didn't. Wait, well, I know I heard maybe some are some are, some are not. And I heard,
Okay.
yeah, you're right. I did. Yeah, I did hear it. I'm sorry, I lied. They
No, it's
said
weird.
She-Hulk is, but Moon Knight is not.
Okay.
And then, what else is coming out? Miss Marvel,
Miss Marvel, yep.
and
Miss
I
Green
believe Miss
Lantern.
Marvel is. So maybe the more, is this considered MA
I
for
believe it
mature
probably
audiences?
is. Yeah.
Maybe something like that with like Jessica Jones. Wait, no, because Daredevil was in the MCU too.
Yeah. So are they singling out Moon Knight? Do they have something against the Moon Knight?
We
Ah.
we'll have to find out. Maybe they
Rude.
don't want something like him to be in the MCU just because he's more of a mercenary by himself guy.
Or maybe the answers will be there, but they're not going to be out until Multiverse of Madness, and this is in its own multiverse.
Maybe. Oh,
And
that
maybe
comes
we'll
out
get.
next month.
Oh my god, it does. Oh yeah, it's April 1st.
Oh, and then the Sonic movie is coming out.
Sonic 2?
Yeah, I didn't see the first one.
I haven't either.
But I'm super hyped for the second one.
That's awesome. I would like that would be really cool. I think that would be smart cuz they can introduce like there was one character I remember and I don't remember his name. He was he started out as a like a friend of Moon Knight, and he was a black guy and he had like a white skull face. And he ended up being like he was their friend for a while, and then he ended up being this like complete and utter psycho that they ended up having to go against. And I
Oh
wonder if they
no.
wanted to like the guy's crazy. I remember he killed like old men, like he just killed uh
Why
indiscriminately.
specifically old men? That's sexist.
Because that was when it started. That was when it started. He killed an old man in I believe it was Egypt. But then that's when they started to realize he was psycho. I wonder if them putting this in its own little corner, its own little multiverse or earth or whatever you want to call it, is for them because they did just introduce, I guess, an 18 plus side of Disney Plus. I wonder if they are going to go darker. Not maybe starting away, but that's what their end goal is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
I
heard
think
somebody
they
saying
could.
they wanted to make the She-Hulk dark, and I'm like, no.
Why? Why would you make
They
She-Hulk
wanted
dark?
her more for mature audiences.
You mean like, do we mean dark or mature audience? Because that could mean like two different things.
Um, I guess with She-Hulk known for being attractive, they wanted her for mature audiences.
Ah, that's what I was wondering if they were going like what you were going for. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm okay with that. She-Hulk is hot. Like generally in the comics, She-Hulk is known for being a little bit promiscuous and a little bit of a firecracker. I could see that working.
Firecracker.
I think that's the best way to put it. Um, yeah, I could totally see that working. And then the same with this, but not going. Obviously, we don't want sexy Moon Knight. Like we want dark Moon
Why
Knight.
not?
I know, right? Like, come on, give him some Dick Grayson booty and let's move on. Um, like they could do, and then you could bring in if you're gonna pick up the newest trade when it comes out, from Jed McKay, you could bring in even the older stuff, I guess. Shadow King, which is his brother, which is like basically looks like him, but like dead, like dead looking. And there's a lot of really like dark ways and I can see this happening, so I wanted to mention it. I am afraid with this show that as no matter how good it turns out or how bad it turns out, there is going to be a subset of people that are already made their mind up that they're showing mental health in a bad light.
Yes, it was a big thing before Moon Knight came out.
What I
They said,
figured.
"Oh, it's Disney, so they're obviously going to make light of the personality disorder. Oh, it's Disney. They don't care about religion. They're not going to care about him being Jewish. Oh, it's they had Moon Knight fly over the Disney logo. That's how you know they're not going to take this character
Oh, I thought that was
seriously."
cool.
I thought it was cool too. And I'm like, really? Just because of that, you think it's going to be childish? And that
That's
they
really
don't
weird.
care and that they're not going to take this seriously? That's incredibly stupid.
That's a
It's
really
obviously just to
bad
look
argument.
cool. That's not going to affect the story anyway, in any way.
No, I actually thought that was really clever. I liked the way they did that, but I don't think it matters how they do it. I don't think they could handle it with kid gloves and as much care in the world. And I don't think it matters. I think there's a subset of people that before the show came out that have made up their mind they're going to bitch on how they handle mental health. And I would say this handled it pretty well. Like the focus isn't necessarily that one or the other is bad. Like obviously we know that Mark's the mercenary, right?
Mhm.
Mark's the mercenary. I wonder if we talked about his rabbi origins. Mark's origins come from the military. I'm curious to see if they'll show that in a good light. Like, there's so many,
Mm.
like, weird things that people, and I know I've talked about this to death, but, like, people on either side think are problematic. So it's like going into a show like this, the is it there's a big issue with the military and cops. Are they going to show that in a good light? There's a big issue with religion. Are they going to show that in a good light?
Well,
Like,
I do. One of the girls that I remember our video when we were recommending female YouTubers for
yes.
women's history or whatever. One of them was she was in the military, and she had to quit and everything due to like PTSD
Mhm.
of being sexually assaulted or something like that. And she tells you like somebody gave asked her a question about propaganda in Falcon and the Winter Soldier of anti-military propaganda, and she was like, it's not really propaganda, if they're portraying it correctly,
Right.
and the military just f's with you and they do not care about you. So if she said that if they were portraying the military in like a bad light, she's like, yeah, it's not false, it's true. They treat us like crap, they forget about us. So if they were to portray it in a bad light, I'm all for it because it's the truth. If they portrayed it
That's
in a good light, then it's not really truthful.
then that would be the propaganda, honestly.
Yes.
I was actually watching one because I subscribed to a bunch of those girls when I was doing that, and I was watching the one girl that does the history stuff
Yeah.
yesterday when I was trying to look for a video of us, and I felt so bad for her. She was talking about beauty standards, and she went on a rant, and I'm like, I just want to give you a hug. You're so
Yeah.
sweet. It's so She was talking about being on TikTok for too long and having the beauty standards get to her, and I'm like, "Oh, I totally get it. Come here. Bring it in. Bring it in." Like, I totally get it. But anyways, yeah, I just know, like, I'm afraid that people go into stuff, and I know I'm guilty of this too. I know I am. We all are. We all have our own little biases, but people go into this with that, no matter if you're looking at Mark Spector or Steven or the inner child, it doesn't matter who you're looking at it. You're going to go in this and go, it wasn't done correctly because this experience so and so, my best friend's uncle's sister's best friend's cousin had. Like, just go into this knowing that you're going to have the Disney formula. It's not probably going to, depending on how dark you like your stuff. If you're going into this thinking you're going to get the Batman levels of dark, you're going to be sadly mistaken. But if you go into this knowing that, like, you're going to get a good show, you're going to get entertained, you're going to get a little spotlight on what Mark or I guess Steven is going through, then just look at that aspect of it. And there's nothing derogatory on mental health that I've seen thus far in this. I don't know if I missed
Plus,
anything,
it
but
was pretty relatable for that old lady in the elevator. They're like, he's like, "Oh, is
oh my
this your
god, that was so
floor?" And she's like, "Yes,
cute.
it's my floor. I'm visiting my friend."
It was so cute.
Ah! I'm
She was
like,
like,
I would
my
do the
friend Carrie or
same.
whatever. That was so cute. That old lady, she's like, hello, I'm here. Answer the door. Like,
Gosh dang, I'm about to get killed.
oh, that was so cute, that old lady. Um, but yeah, like, I think there was no right way for Disney to do this without getting a little bit of outrage, but I'm glad they did it because Mark is one of those, or Moon Knight's one of those characters that's been a fan favorite for years. And I mean years. Like, I remember him making it into like Lego Batman and stuff. Like this B character or Lego Batman. Oh my god, I'm so okay. What was it? Lego
My egos.
Superheroes. Lego Megas. The Lego video game that had Age of Ultron, and then they did a couple more. I remember like playing him in that game, and he's been around for, oh my god, I want to say since the 80s, since the early 80s, I think. And like he started as a one-off, well, like a couple, an arc off villain, or I don't know if he was a villain or not, like antagonist. Um, that ended up getting so popular over the years. He got his own stuff, and he's gone from then. But like this show was pretty fucking solid for a start. For a start, I'm definitely coming back for episode 2, and I can't say that about Hawkeye. Was it just called a Hawkeye? Yeah, I think it was just called Hawkeye. I watched the first episode, 2 episodes, and I never went back, and I still don't have any interest in coming back.
For Hawkeye?
Yeah, I never finished it.
I didn't start it yet.
Hey, I'm ahead of you on that one. It was very cute, but I like Kate Bishop. I honestly like Kate Bishop. I don't like Hawkeye. So like it centers around him, and I'm like, I'll just go read like Matt Fraction's run. I like the Christmas aspect. I liked all of it. It was made for me, but and then like I don't want to ruin anything. Did you hear about the cameos and stuff?
No.
Okay, well, I'm not ruining anything. The cameos didn't impress me either.
Well, show, just tell me the cameos.
Okay, they had Echo. You know who Echo is?
No.
Okay, see? And they also had Kingpin.
I know Kingpin. Of course I would know Kingpin.
Right, but like, it just, meh, okay, cool. Like, I'll watch a review of it if I need to catch up for a movie. It wasn't super impressive, and everyone's like, oh my god, an Echo series is coming! Well, why? Who's like, I'm a huge fan of Echo. I don't understand it. Why is she?
I did hear people say something like that, and I'm like, oh well, I don't know Echo.
I don't know Echo barely at all, and I tried to pick up her current run. Oh my!
Is it girl?
Girl, yeah. She is deaf, and
of course,
she has this like weird like handprint on her head, but it's not like paint. It's like, I don't know. She could. You know who Taskmaster is? You know Taskmaster can like basically copy people's powers.
Yeah.
That's kind of how she is. That's the best way to explain it. But like, I tried to pick up her current run because I'm like, okay, she's got a series coming. I'll probably end up making a video on it. I want to know a little bit more about, oh my god, that was a mistake. It was the worst comic book I've ever read. It didn't make any sense. I was just like, what the actual fuck? Like, you know how people use that hyperbolically with like, oh my god, she's the bestest ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? No. Echo is the bestest ever. Like, it was so bad I couldn't take it. It was like, I think, like, low level indie level of bad. I was just like, I'm not doing this. I just won't watch the show. I just don't care. I gotta
How
go.
is her name spelled?
ECHO, isn't it? Or ECKO? Yeah, I think so. Let me look.
Because I know for Arcane, Echo is spelled EKKO.
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay, yeah, it is spelled like that.
Yep.
Oh, she looks pretty cool.
She does. She has an awesome design. Maybe some of her older stuff is better, but as of right now, her current stuff, it's Maya Lopez is her name. Her older,
she's like Spanish.
I think she's American Indian. I want to say
American Indian. You said?
I think so.
What's the Lopez part then?
I don't know. Oh, Phoenix Force is what it was called. Oh my god. No, was that what it was called? I don't remember. She hosts the Phoenix Force. I know that. But she Native American. Yeah, Native American. She's a Cheyenne Nation Native American.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I've never met a Native American with the last name Lopez.
It's Marvel. They have no idea what they're doing when they're creating characters for names.
Oh, how long ago was she created?
I don't think she's that old, honestly.
And they still messed up?
It's Marvel Comics. She is not like they're not gonna think too hard in it. Don't you remember that when it was remember when they had that gay Captain America and all of those like different Captain Americas?
Yes. That whole thing.
She was created in 1999. A little bit older than what I thought. But so don't you remember they had the Filipino Captain America and they actually named her something that turned out to be Coochie? It was
I think so.
was like
But it's so
Arya.
weird because some people said that that's what it meant, but then other people were saying, "Well, no, not actually. It actually means blah 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 blah." And I'm like, I don't know who to believe anymore.
I know. I think it actually meant like female genitalia or something. I don't know. Like, it's just like they don't know what they're doing. They try, kind of. At least they make it seem like they do. But yeah, Maya Lopez, a Native American from '99. Okay, this is gonna sound really bad. Created by two white dudes. Just saying. Just putting that out
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I mean, what person wasn't created by a white dude
That's true.
in
That's
Marvel?
very true. It was actually Joe Quesada, who's a really good writer. I don't know. Very weird to me. But yeah, Echo is come. Yeah, I totally got off on a tangent. That was not about Moon Knight for the last 15 minutes. I apologize.
I'm so sorry.
But yeah, I don't have any interest in that character. Where I do have interest is Moon Knight. See how I brought that back around?
Yeah.
And it was really good. So what would you give it out of 10?
I would give it a 7.5 because I'm interested of how the rest of the episodes uh is going to go. So I'm keeping it with this is considered a low good. So I don't accidentally like rate it higher than any other episode I'm going to like better. I know that didn't make sense. Don't think about it.
No. I was trying to think like if it was a 7.5, would you want to come back for the rest? I guess it's low
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I would
Cuz
say
I'm like I don't think I want to rate it an 8 just yet, especially since it's just starting out.
right.
Maybe the next episode will be an 8, maybe it's going to be like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I get that. I think I'm right there with you. Like, I would say 7.5, I wouldn't come back, but yeah, maybe I would. Yeah, the action I would say would be more like an 8.5, but the other stuff, because the action, like the way they did it was really good. There just wasn't a bunch of it because of the need for explanation, the need for the understanding of what he's going through. But like that last scene where he's punching it, oh my god, yes, I'm coming back and I would rate it probably an 8. And I thought you were gonna like it more than I was. It was fun. And I like Moon Knight. And I like the idea of venturing into the weird. I like that I like when I picture Batman sometimes, you know that like blurry again, like pass out thing. I feel like he
Mhm.
might do that between Bruce Wayne and Batman. Yeah,
Well, now that I guess the audience knows that he has a personality disorder, maybe they're not gonna black out so much and just have him change
yeah,
to
that was a
Mark
way
and
to
actually show
yep.
the fighting scenes with Mark instead of just cutting off from a freaked out Steven.
Yeah, and I think that's what it needs. Because it felt like because of those blackout scenes, the action was a little quick and a little bit like maybe we needed more. And now that that is established going forward, we can see both sides of it.
I
And
did like
it's great.
that you saw like detail, like the guy he was shooting in the cupcake truck, delicious cupcakes. Um he had bullet holes in his head and I'm like, "Okay, I'm glad you showed the detail."
Yes, because if not, it would just been like, there's a dead dude right there. Okay, he killed somebody. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Yes, so definitely, you guys check out Moon Knight. It's worth it. You'll have fun. And even if you don't like it, if you want something darker, pick up Jed McKay's run or Jeff Lemire's run. It is it's such an interesting character and so outside of your typical superhero. And I think that's why I love it so much because it's so like they're allowed to take a little bit more creative liberties when it comes to the occult or the idea of deities and the idea of DID. I like that. With Batman, you're going to get him fighting the Joker. You're going to get this. You're going to get that. You don't know what to expect. And I think that's what's so cool about it.
Oh, there was one thing we forgot to talk about.
Oh, what's that?
Um he's passing out a lot, so the Mark can come forward. But
Hmm.
what if he already has the other personalities? Because there was
Oh,
a part where he was gone for like 2 days.
yeah.
So maybe like during different days of the week, the other ones come out and just do whatever. So you
Well,
have Mark, you have Mr. Knight, uh, and who
already
would
about.
obviously, being a mercenary is like an everyday job. I assume. So that's probably why he always has himself, what's it called? Handcuffed, even though it's
Yeah.
not a handcuff, that kind of
Right,
thing.
like
But it was pretty sad.
restrained.
Because you really felt for him when he was at the steak place with that date that Mark set up.
Oh yeah, when he was
And
like ordering the steak and crying.
yeah, and he's a vegan, and he's so depressed that he's like, I'll just get a steak.
Oh, I forgot they said earlier he was a vegan. Oh my god, you're right. That makes it even worse.
And that's why, like, he didn't understand the questions that was being asked. He's like, what body part do you want, or whatever? And he's like, I'll just take the steak. And he's like, okay, we'll just give you a center fillet. And he's
He's
like,
like, make it
how
good.
how do you want it done? He's like, good, very good. And he's like, okay, so well done. I'll just put you down for well done. And I'm like, oh, that's a nice server. And he's like, oh, he knows he's hurting. He's like, I'll just get you some food.
Oh, yeah, that
Oh.
makes it make so much more sense now. I actually think that theory's correct because, like we were talking earlier, when I said, does Mark like come out and ask the girl out? What's the personality out there? Because Mark, we always seen come out when he was Moon Knight, right? He was
Mhm.
Moon Knight. We saw the costume fabricate from his body. What personality is Jake? The one that's coming out and is kind of like the suave one? Like that actually makes a lot more sense. That theory. I bet you're right on that. Um, yeah, you're smart. Mr. Knight might already be out and making appearances, and we have no idea. I mean, I'm sure we
So
will
that's going to be
soon.
super interesting whether he already has it or they are manifesting, because sometimes to some people with identity disorders, they will get some more later on that are creating themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I also like how uh they were telling Miss, what was his name? uh Common Chew.
Oh, Khonshu?
Conchu. Thank you. I was going to say something else completely different, and I realized how
Kamenchu?
inappropriate that sounded.
Go ahead.
So he was like, given to Mark. He's like, just, let go, let me have control, that kind of stuff. And so sometimes I have a coworker who has identity disorder, and so they would say something like, I'm pretty stressed right now. I don't want them to come out, and because of that, you feel a tapping in your head and it hurts to
Oh,
restrain. It hurts to restrict them, you know? And so I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder if he feels pain too. Oh my gosh, we never talked about the goldfish.
oh my God, the goldfish died. How did the goldfish die?
I thought he was already dying because it was swimming sideways, and then they
It
said
only had
later
one
on,
flipper.
yeah, he only had one fin, so that's why he was swimming sideways. I didn't even notice that. I'm just like, oh, he's swimming sideways. He's going to die. But it's possible that they were overfeeding him,
Oh
the other
yeah, or he was
personalities.
gone for 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. Which is weird. They don't really need to be fed that much. Every other day
Yeah,
would be fine. But I don't know who it was, but whoever, bought a different goldfish for Steven, that was pretty nice. And they even asked, does anyone have one fin instead of two? And
the lady specifically said, "I taught when you were here yesterday."
yeah, she was like, when you were here yesterday, I told you every single one has two. So that means he asked if there was one that had only one fin.
But what personality is that? That's why I
I want to
think your theory
know.
is correct.
You think it
I
could be the
don't
little girl,
know. I think it could be Jake or because
Mark?
Mark's a mercenary. When
Mark
Mark
wouldn't care
really
about
go,
that, right?
yeah, exactly. So like, it's got to be Jake that's coming out and being like this normal person because Mr. Knight doesn't come out and be a normal person. You know what I'm saying?
Those are chumps.
Mark could be, but like it just seems like something he wouldn't notice. And that yeah, notice. But like how did the goldfish die? I need to know. Like poor
I hope
little
they
guy.
explain it. He's like, what happened to my goldfish? It only had one fin, and now I have this new goldfish, and it's two fins. He's like, oh well, it died, so I wanted to give
So
you another one.
you know about animals because you work with around animals. Like he gave it chocolate.
He gave it
What would that
sprinkles.
do? Oh, I thought he gave it chocolate.
No, he gave it sprinkles. That was the new goldfish. He
He kind of
gave.
like resented it. Am I just noticing that, or was he like He was like, "You're not so and so." Like, he kind of was like heartbroken a little bit.
He was super heartbroken because he messed up on the date.
That was so sad. That whole
Oh,
little scene was sad because it was like you felt that spiral. That like everything was going wrong. Like Murphy's Law, right? Everything was going wrong. And it just was like one thing after another. I think you're absolutely correct. I think the other personalities are already out and about. We just haven't seen them yet as a watcher of the show. Totally makes sense.
exactly.
I liked it though. It was really good, and leave it to two girls to talk longer about the show than the actual show was itself. I love it.
It was my purpose this entire time.
But there's a lot of elements to dive into, and it was really good. Like, now the more I talk about it, even the more I see stuff that I miss, like that simple vegan thing, right? Like,
Mhm.
they did a really good job of scripting a beginning, a way to get you at least enough on the edge of your seat to come back. And that says more. You know what? One thing I will say I didn't like, I wanted to mention was for about the first half of it, was it just me or did it feel like the music, the score was completely brought you out of it?
Yes.
I was
I felt the
bad.
music didn't match at all. I mean, there's like, "Oh, 60s pop playing," and I'm like, "Why?"
It was like, why are you trying to make me feel a little like weird here, uncomfortable with this? I don't know what they were going
So,
for there.
it feels like, and I'm not trying to say they're trying to copy it, I do think that this is what they decided themselves, but this feels like trying to do how James Gunn did the music
Yes.
for Peacemaker, but it's not hitting, and I
It
think it's
didn't
because
hit.
the setting in the movie is completely off, like, you have no idea what's happening, he's seeing dead people, he has blood all around him, maybe put some more, darker music, like, darker rock or metal or that kind of stuff, and not happy 60s pop music.
It felt like they were trying to be more upbeat when it needed to be serious, whereas James Gunn knows when to be serious and use like a ballad or something like that. Or Peacemaker's not near of a serious character than Moon Knight. So it works with that type of character, whereas this one you're just like, "Bro, no. No, please don't make this for all 6 episodes. This is bad." Like, yeah, it did feel like it got better as the episode went on, but at least in the
Maybe
beginning,
maybe I stopped listening to the background
yeah,
music
one
because
of
of
the
that. I don't know.
I know, I'm not sure which one it was, but something got better. Hopefully they fix that because it brought me out of it a little bit in the beginning. I'm like, God, what are we watching? Oh no, please save me. But yeah, definitely worth a watch
Yes.
for sure. Make sure you guys. Is there anything else we missed before we wrap up? That I can think of?
Do you think we're gonna be seeing that lady who called on the phone? Like, do you think we'll physically see her?
Yes, absolutely.
I hope so. I'm pretty hyped.
I
Maybe she's a
definitely think
partner in
so.
crime.
Yeah, because she's got some connection to Mark that I don't remember, like, her name. What was it, like, Lydia, maybe? Something like that?
I thought
Uh,
it was like Lauren or Lorith or something like
yeah,
that.
I don't remember her at all. So, yeah, I definitely think they're gonna have to explain. I think the one thing that Disney does so well, even looking back at stuff like, because I watched all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision and Loki, um, they put little hints, right?
Mhm.
Like, the goldfish is likely a little hint as to what to come. The phone call is likely a little hint. Those things are going to, like, those little strings are all gonna have an end. It's just waiting for it to play out. And I think that's what's so good Disney does so well, because then when you go back and watch it, and not that I've went back and watched any of those, but if you went back and watched it, you would see those little hints all along as to what's gonna happen. And I definitely think we're seeing whoever that is.
Mhm.
I think it'll have more explanation as, you know what? I said earlier, I wonder if we're going to get to explore Mark's origins. I wonder if that is going to be part of it, her specifically.
I hope so. I would love to see that.
I would too. I think we will. I really do think we will. I think there's a going to be like, even if it's just a little flashback, a mini origin for all of them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That'll be
Oh,
good too.
so, what I asked about the, Maya Lopez, I was looking it up while we were talking. So apparently, a lot of Native American last names have Spanish origins. Like some will be named like Martinez and all that stuff. So I guess they just some of them just naturally have Spanish last names.
I
Just
did not know that. I learn something new every day. Okay, I take my comment back earlier. I'm sorry. I
I also take my
apologize.
comment back. This is why I need the internet to learn.
Right? Google is the best thing. I do it. I use Google way too often. Like, even if I'm watching a video and I don't know the word they said, I'm like, I gotta look this up. Make me smarter. Come on now. Thank you, Google. When I was young, you had to actually look at a dictionary. Oh my God.
I
I
think
just
I
said
still
an
have
old person
mine.
joke. A dictionary?
A pocket one, you would have for like school and
Yes.
stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It,
Wow.
it's cute. It doesn't have that much wear and tear.
Because you didn't use it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I used it.
I'm just kidding. Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
But
so
I would have to
that
find it.
I don't think I still have one. I think everything is it just I use Google for everything. Oh, that's so sad. They have us by the balls for sure.
Yay.
All right, guys, make sure you guys check out Bianca's channel. Make sure you guys subscribe and all that fun stuff, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.